Yeah, continue, and, part 10, chapter 10, 10, 10. I saw a ceiling I was familiar with. Though I was groggy from sleep, I didn't notice that I was in my futon like I was every morning. I looked at my clock, and despite having turned in so late last night, I'd woken at precisely the same moment I always did. I'm so low on sleep, I guess you really can, get up at the same time every day. The secret of the human body never ceased to amaze me. If I went back to sleep like this, I would definitely not be waking up again. I spurred myself on and slipped out of my futon. Ba 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 da. Mom asked me about last night at breakfast. Apparently, we too had gotten a call asking if we knew where Rika-chan's and Toko were. Mom vaguely understood that something serious was happening. So then, you were out late last night with all your friends looking for them? Till about 3, I think. Yeah. Did you find them? Rika-chan's and Toko, I mean. Crunch. I really a bit into my toast. Weirdly, I really didn't have any taste. It really didn't have any taste. Just then we heard the chime of Go Ding Dong. I looked up at the clock and saw that it was about 5 minutes past my regular meeting time with Rena. It was her at the door. Good morning. Did you get any sleep, did you? I think I slept for a few hours. You could probably count them on a chicken's toe, though. Ha. Rena seemed pretty sleep deprived as well. There was something missing from her usual spirit. Are you going to school? Yeah. Ba-da-da-da. I think it would be better that way, she said, smiling, albeit stiffly. Rena was probably worrying her heart out about those two as well. Even so, she still wanted to go to school. If you stay home today, I think you'd just be worrying non-stop and sleeping. I don't want that. So let's go to school together. Alright, wait just a moment. I'll get ready. Ba-ba-ba. I was just a little bit happy about Rena mustering that much consideration for me. We went to the place where we'd usually meet up with Mian, but she was nowhere to be found. We were a little late today, so we thought she'd be waiting for us. I guess me trying to wake up today, huh? Ah, that's right. For her, it wasn't just yesterday. She was up all night looking for the mayor the night before, too. We waited for a bit. Time passed until it got to the point where it was okay for us to go on alone, and we exchanged glances. What do we do? Wait a little longer? At that point, my brain, which had finally been woken up by the morning air, recalled the ominous words Ushi-san had left me with last night. The leaders of the three families were disappearing one after the other, and next to my position as Arcade leader, could Mion have? No, that couldn't be. Let's go. Let's let her sleep for today. Jin gave me a pat on the back. Mion, she's still here, right? Hmm? Did you say something? Oh, nothing, just talking to myself. Let's get moving. The two of us headed to school by ourselves. On the way, we saw a bunch of classmates, accompanied by their parents. It even looked like some of them were being taken to school by car. Surprisingly, the principal was also standing watch at the school gate. I'd never seen that before. Good morning. Good morning. The principal was bowing to our classmates' guardians. The wooden sword leaning next to him was a little ominous. Father-kun, good morning. Ryua-kun, good morning. No, good morning. The teacher has something important to say, so head straight to class. Alright. Rena and I said nothing. The madness that only existed at night had finally crawled out into the sunlight. That's what it felt like. Good morning, everyone. The hushed conversations that had been spreading for a while now all disappeared like an illusion the moment opened or our teacher walked in the door. Silence dominated the classroom. The principal came in with our teachers as well. It was clearly not a normal morning. But the principal has something important to tell everyone. Go ahead, Mr. Principal. The principal cleared his throat and approached the dials. Sure some of you already know this. The classroom was dead silent. Everyone was staring at Rika-chan's and Satoko's empty seats. The principal briefly and simply declared that Rika-chan and Satoko had gone missing. There wasn't a single person in the classroom who didn't already know. There seemed to be many, however, who couldn't accept it as the truth. It had been confirmed to them, now by the principal's words. There was sobbing throughout the classroom, and I heard a kid crying, sobs throughout the classroom. They steadily spread throughout the room. The big-headed principal wasn't able to keep his cool either. Okay, everyone, pay attention. From today onwards, your parents or guardians will be taking you to school. For those of you who don't, whose parents can't do so, you'll be coming here in groups. I made a handout, so read it carefully and be sure to show it to your parents. Understand? The teacher's voice was a little abrasive. Not even she could conceal the strain she felt from this unprecedented abnormal situation. They should have just cancelled school today. However, Rina told me that the school was also like the nursery for the students, whose parents both work, so but some of them wouldn't want school to be cancelled. Well then, let's begin the lesson. Class president, she's absent, I see. Then whoever's on day duty, let me hear it. All rise. That feeling of wanting to maintain an everyday atmosphere, even if only in school, precisely because our lives had been messed up, something that I agreed with at this point. As for the teacher who always had her lunch in the staff lounge, she ate it in the classroom today. I had to offer her curry bento, which was just a rumor until now, but there was nobody to laugh with me. Rina brought her chair and lunch over to my seat. Today it was only the two of us. The fact that we didn't need to drag any of the other desks was sad. I'm sleepy. Yeah, I don't feel like sleeping anymore though. In fact, I'm jealous of the people that can sleep at a time like this. They've got nerves of steel. Hahaha, you're right. I was sleepy this morning, but my drowsiness had dissipated after coming to school and constantly feeling the incredible tension. Rina's bento box didn't have its usual luster. That was to be expected. Rina was up for a long time last night too. She wouldn't have had time to make her lunch beforehand, since it's not like she would have gotten up early this morning. Grab anything you want, go ahead, you can admit that my bento is better today. Okay, then I'll have some. Wow, a, chiriwa roll with, pila and cheese. That's interesting. Perila. Rina, yours might have, ready-made food in it, but it's pretty good too. I realized the two of us were desperately trying to find the afternoon mood to its usual levels as much as we could. I looked around the classroom and it seemed like we were the only ones trying to do so, surrounded as we were by gloomies. Oof. Just the two of us sharing our lunches like this, it's sort of like something. How? Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Our laughter grew quieter. I was the first one to mess up. Sorry. I'm sorry. No, it's okay. It's not your fault. Our chopsticks both stopped moving. We couldn't keep it up anymore. Rika-chan, Togo. I wonder where they went. Those words might have sounded too miserable. Everyone was thinking it, using roundabout ways to address the topic. But I came straight out and said it. I heard Rina catch her breath. Yesterday while you were gone I heard a bunch of things. I'll tell you what I know, okay? Sorry again about last night. Go ahead. At that time, since they had arrived for support, Rina was helping the Ladies' Society cook the miso soup we had. They report all of the information the villagers had gathered, and Rina said she overheard it. They didn't know anything important though, did they? Rika-chan and Satoko went home after school, and then apparently went somewhere on their bikes, but other than that, Miana told me yesterday, we had no clues. Yeah, the police also said that they probably went out on their bikes to go play somewhere as soon as they got home. If they were going out to play somewhere on their bikes right after they got home, then they might have gone into town. So I guess they concluded they disappeared while in Akinomiya. Peace was saying how they were going to expand their search to Akinomiya in the morning. In town. It makes sense why we couldn't find them even though we searched all of Himazawa then. Still something didn't fit. I had no basis for thinking that, just a gut feeling. I revealed something to Rika-chan that was likely very important to her that day. Then Rika-chan had told me to leave it to her. Then, what did she say? Oh right, if you didn't work hard then something bad might happen to the dog too, I think. With all the talks of dogs and cats, I still don't have the faintest idea what she meant, but it might have been Rika-chan's way of saying this was a race against time. Damn it. I'd selfishly pushed my anxiety onto Rika-chan and tried to run away. When I thought about it, I shouldn't have run back then. I should have asked her more about the dogs and cats. The more I think about it, I really screwed up. Anyway, I don't think Rika-chan was in a situation where she, would just go off to play somewhere. Of course, I didn't have any evidence or a conviction to base that off. It was just a hunch. I don't think she would go into town. You think so too, Kichi-kun? I agree. Rika-chan and Satoko must have disappeared in Himazawa. I looked back at Venus startled. I cleared the conviction in those words. Without replying to my gaze, she took her bento and went into the hallway. I'm going to rinse this out. She timed that in a way that broke up the conversation. Suddenly I got the feeling that the next thing she had to say would be hard to say out loud in the classroom. I hurriedly grabbed my bento box and followed her. Rina didn't go to the kitchen tea, but rather to the water fountains out back where students seldom went. The water flowed down onto our bento boxes. During that time, Rina didn't say a word. Then after making sure that there were no other students around, she finally opened her mouth to speak. The whole thing about Rika-chan and Satoko going to town to play and then disappearing, that didn't make sense for some reason, so I decided to investigate a little myself. Who did you ask? What did you ask them about? I asked the Lady Society all sorts of things. There was a lot of tofu in the milk of soup yesterday, remember? The old lady from the Tommy Ta tofu shop came too. The Tommy Ta tofu shop, oh I remember. That was one of the stores on the road leading to the hospital. Those huge lumps of tofu dancing in the bathtub like Kirsten always looked nice and refreshing. The old lady says she remembers Satoko stopping to buy tofu there on her way home from school. Tofu? Well, it's one way home. It's on the way home, right? How is that a clue? Just listen. Do you remember when we went to Rika-chan's house? Venus stepped away from the sinks and spread her arms wide to recreate the space of Rika-chan's room. There was a pot on her gas cooker and there was miso soup in it. I think there was probably about half of it inside. The rest was in the refrigerator. They must have been planning to make a chilled tofu. It was on the plate in plastic wrap. As Rina explained, she walked around as if she were going through Rika-chan's room. So Rina, why does that matter? Ichi-kun, when you make miso soup, you put the tofu in last. That means that Rika-chan or Satoko-chan, whoever was cooking, was standing there making it up until before dinner time. Right, up until dinner time? Wasn't everyone saying that their bikes went around, so they must have gone somewhere to play by themselves? The trash in the countertop bin was put in there really awkwardly too. Rika-chan made the most of their food and lunches, but occasionally Satoko does it too. So Satoko-chan was cooking that night, so that means that Satoko at least didn't go somewhere to play. She was preparing dinner? Yeah. Then I took a look at the rice cooker and there was rice with two still in there. So she must have made dinner for both of them, but neither of them ate it. Is that it? Rina nodded. So, next I looked into the refrigerator. There was some chilled tofu made from the other half that they brought. That's not all either. There were a whole bunch of plates with side dishes for dinner, and all of them were in plastic wrap. You usually plastic wrap things so you can have leftovers for the next day. My mom does it all the time too, using them in breakfast and lunch. That's right, you use plastic wrap to save leftovers for later, so the fact that they were in the fridge means they didn't plan on eating them at that night at least. Is that what it means? Kichi-kun, think about it a little harder. The dinner was totally untouched and wrapped up. What do you think that means? They ate something else? Well, that means they didn't need to eat dinner anymore. So they would have gone out to eat or order takeout. It must have been really sudden too. If they had decided to do that beforehand, they wouldn't have made anything, but there was dinner for the two of them. That means that when Satoko-chan was making their dinner, they really thought they were going to eat it up until right before they didn't. So then, the theory about the two of them going out to pay and disappearing is wrong. Yep. They disappeared after making dinner and right before they ate it. Probably around 7 o'clock. Why would they have gone at a time like that by themselves without eating? That's obvious where this is leading. Kichi-kun, do you remember on their fold-out table, there was lots of things like a soy sauce and a chopstick holder. It might have been something like that. I didn't remember. The container for the soy sauce, it was empty. There wasn't even a drop left. Chilled tofu wouldn't taste good without it. So I looked under their sink for the larger bottle of soy sauce they had. You sure know a lot about where they keep stuff. Ahaha, I've been to Rika-chan's house before and cooked for them before. Vina cleared her throat, her face returned into a serious expression. Then when I opened the cabinet, the big bottle of soy sauce wasn't there at all. It wasn't there, what does that mean? Everything I'm gonna say from here on is just Vina's idea, so please listen until the very end without saying anything. Last night, Satoko was making dinner like normal. Rika-chan usually watched TV, so the food was ready, so she probably lying down watching a variety show or something. Satoko put the tofu in the miso soup, and right when dinner was about to be ready, she noticed that they were out of soy sauce. So Rika-chan, who had nothing to do, brought the big bottle of soy sauce to a neighbor's house to borrow theirs. I don't really know my neighbors that well. Would people be willing to give her soy sauce? Yeah, it's not all that uncommon in Himizawa. So Rika-chan rode her bike out to get some soy sauce. No matter how long Satoko-chan waited, the Rika-chan didn't come back. So then Satoko-chan called up the house where Rika-chan was going. Would Rika happen to be imposing on you? Something like that. Then the other person must have replied something like this. We have plenty of food here, so you should come too, Satoko-chan. Rika-chan has already eaten. I think that's how they called it out there. Satoko called Rika a few names in private and wrapped up the dinner she had made for them. She put it in the fridge so she could use it for breakfast and lunch the next day. Then Satoko got on her bike too and headed for the house where Rika-chan was. Okay, but this is already pretty strange. You don't normally make so much food you can give it to people who suddenly arrive at your house. A veteran housewife would never normally make so much food that she could feed 2 extra people. Could it have just been a coincidence that they made too much? For 2 people? It's still unthinkable. Rina flatly denied me. Since Rika-chan knew that Satoko-chan had worked really hard to make dinner for them, didn't she? No matter what kind of food she was offered, she wouldn't let Satoko-chan's dinner go to waste. This was all circumstantial evidence and Rina's guesswork. Even so, it was all extremely convincing. It was the only ray of hope we had to topple this situation through a rift of clues. Then Rina, where did Rika-chan go to get soy sauce? That was the heart of it. It would have been somewhere she would be comfortable with asking for soy sauce, and somewhere Satoko-chan wouldn't think it's suspicious that she'd be invited for dinner. So who was it? Rina slowly shook her head. That's all for Rina's guesses. These are all just ideas, okay? Keep them a secret from the police. What is there to hide? Even if only half of what you said it was right, it should be a good clue for all this. Kichi-kun, this is all me suspecting someone from Himizawa. We can't suspect anyone without a really good reason. I saw a few girls coming over to rinse out their bento boxes. Rina cut the conversation short there and returned to the classroom. I stayed there alone, my body bathed in the lively voices of the cicadas. Let's think about this in my own way. Rena had better information to go on, and if she's reasoned out that much, there should be something that only I, who knew far more than Rena did, could deduce. Ushi sensed that last night too, but this incident was definitely occurring within Himizawa. Rena might not have wanted to believe it, but it's basically a given that the culprit is someone from the village. The trigger for everything was when the four of us trespassed in the forbidden storehouse. Somebody saw us go in there. For the culprits, breaking the taboo was a crime punishable by death. So that night, Tomitake-san and Takana-san were sacrificed. There were two left, Shion and myself. However, before the culprits bore their fangs on Shion and me, they went after the mayor to whom Shion had confessed her sin. Next they went for Rika-chan to whom I'd confessed my sin. Then what about Satoko? Just a stray bullet? But by itself, Rika-chan being sacrificed after I told her everything was mortifying. But Satoko, who was sacrificed for no reason, wasn't that all too regrettable? All the more regrettable, everything was my fault. Who would be the next to disappear? Would it be Shion and me next? Why? Why weren't the culprits going for Shion and me right away though? If they had enough power to erase Maya and Rika-chan, then why not just get rid of Shion and me? If they went for us, well, I wouldn't like it, but I could still tolerate it. What I couldn't forgive was them getting rid of those who'd confessed to. Now that I think about it, yesterday Shion said something alarming. She felt like somebody was watching her. So then, was somebody watching me as well? Strangely though, I hadn't felt anything like that until now. Even though I'm the root cause of everything, I had never once had that impression. Maybe that was simply because Shion was more cautious than me, and I was just being careless. That's another story though. Let's get back on track. Why were the culprits going after Shion and me? I felt like that's where the key to this lay. Could it be? Was I making a big assumption that I shouldn't have been? I thought and thought but couldn't come up with an answer. The only thing I understood was that I was a concerned party to this cause, and that I had a duty to watch over it until everything got resolved. I heard the ring of the bell, declaring the end of lunch break. Will somebody else disappear tonight? If nobody else did, then I wanted them to get rid of me tonight for sure. Then put an end to all of this. Shion's hysteric voice on the phone last night came back to mind. They plan to murder those close to us first, make us miserable as possible, and only then would they kill us. Barracan, lunch break is over. Go back to the classroom. At the principal's urging, I returned to the classroom, which was quiet as the street of night. There's a lot of parents picking up their children after school. It was just like kindergarten. The students whose parents didn't come went home as a group. We left school with everyone else, following the assigned route. Even while leaving, nobody said anything funny. They all looked extremely exhausted like mountaineers, silently marching through the mountains. As we went, one left, then another, and in the end it was just Rena and me. I was supposed to escort Rena all the way to her house, but she declined. Will you be alright? It's not safe to go alone. It would be just as dangerous for you to go home by yourself after bringing me back, Kichi-kun. It's the lights out anyway. It'll be fine. I see. Then be careful, okay? Yeah. Huh? Isn't that a policeman? Rena pointed towards my house. There's a car stopped in front of it. Is it Ushi? Yeah, okay. From out of that car came Ushi-san. He must have been waiting for my return to ambush me. Ushi-san, started walking over wearing that annoying grin. Rena, you should go. If you get involved with him, you'll be here for hours. But... What is the police want with you? Rena's a good person. Even when I made a fuss over Rika-chan's disappearance, she never asked me why I did it. She could be suspecting me ever since then, and that would have been okay. Even so, she still hasn't asked me anything. She still doesn't pressure me into revealing the truth. I'm not the culprit. I know that. That said, I can't say that I'm totally uninvolved with this incident. Rena simply listened, smiling like she always did. Even though I had insinuated that I was related to the incident, she didn't. look at me as though she was looking at something dirty. I'll tell you next time. Okay, I'm looking forward to it. Get going then. Ba 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 ba. Rina gave me a slight bow and trotted away, leaving me alone with Ushi, who walked over. Hey, hello. Welcome home, Abada-san. Hello. Looks like your parents aren't here. My, was I in a bit of a spot? He came all the way to my house. I could only think my good fortune that my parents were absent. Since neither of them were around at this hour, they probably would be back late. I think, Dad got called out on business. I don't think he'll be back until later. I see. Well, that's convenient, I suppose. We can do this without giving your parents any strange ideas. Shisan pushed my back, prompting me to walk. It seemed like he wanted me to get into his car. Are you taking me to the police station? I wasn't the culprit, but I was the cause of everything. Wouldn't it be weird if you wanted to investigate me? That gave me a resigned feeling. No, I just don't want to stand around talking. We can just talk in the car, that's all. Come now, don't be shy. He opened the back door and urged me inside. If I go in, I wouldn't have an easy time getting out. If I said no, however, then this man might really handcuff me and take me away. Da-ba-ba-da-da-da. I couldn't refuse, I could only accept in good grace. The inside of the car had been cooled too much by the air conditioner, and there was a rusty smell coming from the filter, which must have been cleaned only rarely. Oh, is it too cold? I'll turn the car off. He turned off the engine and it suddenly became quiet, and the voices of the Higurashi, with all their cool loneliness, snuck inside. Ka-ka-ka-ka-ka-ka-ka. It sounded too much like a chorus of voices, lamenting my, exorbitant punishment for having harbored such foolish curiosity. For a few moments while listening to those voices, I myself lamented the days that had been twisted and distorted since that night. Uchi-san, as if waiting for me to voluntarily begin talking, lit a cigarette and listened to the Higurashi. The silence became deafening, and I was the one who folded first. How's the investigation going? An investigation? Of what? There have been so many. Which one do you mean? All of them? Well, alright then. They're officially secret investigations, but we're under a media blackout. But I'll let you in on them. Then, shall we start from the first incident? The freak deaths of Tomitaka-san and Takana-san on the night of the Watanagashi. On this one, embarrassingly enough, we haven't made any progress at all. First of all, Tomitaka-san. There are indications on his body that he was assaulted by a group of people, but we have no explanation for him clawing out his own throat and dying. We suspect an overdose from a stimulant or something, but we didn't detect anything. What about Takana-san? The same, we're in the dark. Autopsies from those who are burned to death are really real tough. We believe she was doused in gasoline after she was strangled. That one falls under the Gifu Preferences Police Department. They haven't been really very cooperative even though it happened in our territory. Oh, that's not really relevant though. The police didn't know anything other than the fact that the victims died inexplicably. Nonetheless, the times when the incidences occurred have been gradually placed right after the festival ended. It's a bit uncertain in Chikana-san's case, but the likely prospect is that she was murdered at about the same time as Tomitaka, then dumped in the mountain of Gifu. Why would they bring a dead body all the way to the mountains? Should have just brought Tomitaka-san out there too. Oh my, Mabara-san, you're quite sharp, you know that? Of course I do believe there is something we need to be attentive of. There are a bunch of suspicious things, but this is about all I can tell you at this point. How about the mayor? Has there been any clues? Having exhausted that topic, I changed the subject, otherwise, you might turn the conversation on me. We investigated his movements on the day he disappeared. We didn't find anything that could provide any clues, but I'll tell you about it anyway. The mayor, Kishuyo Kimiyoshi, apparently he suffered from severe, severe, wait, hemorrhoids, yeah, there it is. People who lived a long time have an unusual amount of pride, so the Mayor hadn't been telling anyone that he was going to a proctologist at a certain university hospital in Shinabone. On the day he disappeared, he had an appointment for a checkup, so he went out first thing in the morning. Even I knew that big hospitals like university hospitals had a really long wait time. Apparently people would get in line hours beforehand, even if they had an appointment. His exam ended at 1 p.m. After that, he ate a light meal in the hospital restaurant and passed the time reading a magazine. We know this because of a receipt we found in his wallet in his home. There's nothing suspicious at all about that. That day he had planned to go to a meeting in the assembly hall in the evening. He was supposed to return home with plenty of time to spare, but while he was on the train coming back there was an accident. It seems it delayed him a bit, and he only got back to his house right before the meeting was scheduled to start. His family witnessed a very hectic mayor leaving to go to the assembly hall at the shrine. What was the meeting about? He disappeared on his way back home, right? Three families and the essential members of the town assembly were at the meeting. We think they were discussing how to deal with the serial freak death incidences that had happened again this year. So then on his way home, the old man who had treated Shion like his own daughter, he was a general person who would encourage Shion whenever she felt pressured by anxiety, and yet Shion's painful voice struck me in the heart. Hmm? Huh? What's the matter? I was taken aback by how strange my own voice sounded. What was it that just surprised me? I squeezed my head with my hand to try and drag back out, while I'd only realized for a split second. Remember, Kichimabara, you just realized something important. The night of Watanagashi, that was when it all started. That night, Chitoko-san and Tomitake-san died. Then, the next morning, word of the incident had spread throughout Himisawa. They planned to talk about it during the evening meeting. The mayor, however, had an appointment at the hospital, and as planned he went there without telling his family. He got a checkup at the hospital. He ate something. And then there was an unexpected delay on his train ride back. When he returned, the meeting was already about to start. The mayor changed clothes, got on his bicycle, and hurried to the assembly hall at the shrine as fast as he could. But when he heard about the incident on the night of Watanagashi until when he showed up at the assembly hall, everything he was doing that day was done in secret. During that time, nobody found out that he went to the hospital alone. He ate alone. And he got on the train alone. That all meant he had absolutely no contact with anyone else. He couldn't even call him on the phone. Okay, but what does that mean, Kichimabara? How does that matter, Kichimabara? Ah. Ah? Chi-chan, what should I do? What's wrong? Tell me. We're not keeping secrets from each other, right? Old man Kimiyoshi, I told him everything. I told old man Kimiyoshi everything. That night, I told the mayor that we snuck into the ritual storehouse. Was that somebody saw us and was out to get us? Right. What then? Old man Kimiyoshi didn't get angry. He smiled, then told me that if I was promptly sorry about it, there was no way I'd be demoing it away. He was really smiling and he told me to leave it to him. Sweat burst out my body like bullets. It became one long strand and slid down from my forehead and to my nose and fell. So then, what does it mean? Hey Kichimabara, no playing dumb. When did she tell him? Shion said she learned about the incident from a phone call her father had made that morning. May had left the house first thing in the morning for his appointment at the hospital. He didn't tell anyone where he was going. Nobody knew about him going to the university hospital. Furthermore, his train ride back to his house was delayed by accident. As soon as he got home, he rushed out to the assembly hall. Then the meeting at the assembly hall began. He continued, it was dark out. Then everyone else left. Nobody saw him after the meeting was over. He just disappeared. maybe Shion saw him, which meant, which meant, which meant, um, Mabata-san, are you alright? If you're too hot, I can turn on the air conditioning, hmm? Another part of me was messing with my thoughts, demanding that I not think any further than that. My head was pounding violently, and the fluids packed inside all blended together until nothing made sense. It was just about to settle, yet it had been smashed and melted in the blink of an eye, no longer able to retain its shape. Abada-san, are you there? Ah, yeah. Ushi-san lit yet another cigarette. There was yet another cigarette, but placed in the ashtray. Was it displaying the passage of time? Had my thoughts been frozen over for that long? I tried to tell you everything I know. In return, feel free to tell me anything you want, Mabata-san. My mind had become a gigantic oozing mess. My brain felt like it had been totally minced by the blades of a blender, and I couldn't think. Now, don't climb up again. If there are any misunderstandings, I'd like to clear them up first. I don't think you're the culprit here or anything. Yuji-san gave his best attempt at an adult smile. I know the four of you snuck into the ritual storehouse that night. Everyone in the village heard the rumors about it the next day. That in itself meant we should take you in for trespassing, but that isn't the problem. It's about what's inside. What was inside that made people who snuck in there end up as sacrifices. There wasn't anything. As soon as I said that, I regret confirming my presence there, but I knew it didn't matter anymore. Was there nothing in there? I mean, everyone who went in is being sacrificed, one by one, you know? Even the mayor and the Rikos-chan, who switched the lock on the door, were sacrificed. What was inside that could have caused such a terrible thing to happen? I was far too tired of keeping quiet about this. Perhaps that was what Uchi-san's goal was all along, but again that didn't matter anymore. There were just a lot of torture devices that were used a long time ago. I looked around at them with everyone. Was that really all? That was really all. There was nothing terrible in there that would make you keep silent like a pile of psychiatric drugs. Maybe a secret poppy workshop? Perhaps there was a mountain of Soviet or Chinese handguns? There was anything suspicious, wooden boxes or containers packed in there? There was nothing as exaggerated as that, as what Ushi-san was hoping for, but I felt like in a way there was plenty of terrible things hidden in there. From the perspective of somebody who viewed the storehouse as sacred, whether or not I thought I had seen some crazy things didn't matter in the slightest. The four of us broke the taboo, punish us. That should have been what happened. We put in a request for search warrant thinking there might be something hidden in the storehouse. It's been sabotaged. The sabotage is a century. They said it would be an insult to religious figures and something about the right to free religion in the Constitution. Ah, jeez. That's why I really didn't have any other recourse but to ask you since you went in there. There really was just old, rusty, dusty torture equipment. Nothing else stood out. Then Tomitaka-san and Takano-san were only killed as a punishment for having broken the taboo? I didn't have an answer for the only part. I suppose I won't bother hiding it anymore. You're the only one who has escaped harm so far. Everyone else but you had disappeared and yet you alone are safe. What's the difference between you and them that would protect you but bring harm to others? That's what I want to know. There was something wrong with what Ushi-san was saying. You alone. You alone. What? Wait a second. What do you mean by you alone? Nah ha 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 ha. I'm saying that you alone have been left alive, right? Out of the four people who tiptoed into the storehouse, ritual implements, I mean. And the only one left alive? Hold on. Shion was still, Chiyo Tomitaka-san and, Mio Takano-san died that night, and Shion Shinozaki disappeared the next day. The next day? Only you are still safe and sound at this point. Why only you? I'm saying that's what I want to know. Sh Sh Shion disappeared? That's impossible. I unintentionally raised my voice, but I didn't care about that. Tomitaka-san died, Takano-san died, and Shion disappeared. When did she disappear? What is this guy talking about? Oh, well now, I thought you were long since aware of this. This is the first time I've heard of it. Shion disappeared when? Well, going back a bit, she disappeared the day after the Watanagashi. Going back a bit, stop saying things I don't understand. Shion Shinozaki spent the night at her relative's house depending on her mood for any given day, so no one thought much of it not knowing where she was. She frequently takes days off from school too. Her teacher has been pretty troubled by her. I didn't ask about any of that, I'm asking you when she disappeared. I told you it was the day after the Watanagashi. The fluids in my body all reversed direction. I lost my sense of balance and everything I could see started to warp and twist out of shape. I simply couldn't endure it. Hang on. Hang on. Shion had already disappeared. Then, that night, that call, that phone call. Who was that? She called me every night. She encouraged me. We vowed that we would do our best, live on and not be erased. Yes, that should have been a phone call with Shion. Should have been a phone call with Shion. Should have been a phone call with Shion. She took breaks from class like it was nothing, and her family wouldn't listen when I told them, so I didn't bother calling the school in the end. So it ended up, taking quite a while before we realized she disappeared. I felt a stabbing pain like needles were being pushed through every pore of my body. It started on my back and began spreading throughout the rest of me. When it had completely covered the surface of my skin, it began to worm its way inside my stomach as well. Don't you remember? We took her to the library the day after Watanagashi. Shion-san was there then. That was the last time we saw her. No one knows where she's been since then. That can't be. That day, Rishi-san had only called me and Shion bounded away lying that she needs to go to work. Didn't she call me that night? Her job at the restaurant called Angel Mall, right? She hasn't been there since that day. She's been completely absent ever since. The person at the restaurant couldn't even get in touch with her. He was really worried. That can't be. It can't be. So it's circumstantial evidence, but after she left us at the library, but before she made it to work, I think it's appropriate to consider her having disappeared during that time, right after Shion ran away without me. It seems that you didn't know. Maybe if you had said something earlier, this would have gone more quickly. Now you understand, right? You're the only one left. You're the only survivor of the four who slipped into the ritual storehouse. It couldn't be. It just couldn't be. If something else happens, it would happen to you. I need you to understand that, Mabara-san. It can't be. It can't be. It can't be. Jian had already disappeared. That couldn't be it. It couldn't be. I talked to her the day before yesterday. I talked to her last night. She was gonna call me again today. That was Shion on the phone. Shion on the phone. It was Shion. It was from Shion. From Shion. Shion has long since disappeared. Next will be you. Then, who was on the phone those past few nights? Who was on the phone those past nights? Who was on the phone those past nights? It can't be. Higurashi? When they cry? Huh. Why are Higurashi crying? Ba ba da ba 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 da ba. I lay down on the couch and stayed there dazed for a while. My mind was completely blank and I couldn't think of anything more than a few seconds. There's a note in my house saying that Mom and Dad will be home late and that I should have some dinner, some ramen or dinner or something. Da 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 da. I could make it whenever I got hungry, but I had no appetite. So I just stood blankly at the ceiling without eating anything. The hands of the clock were already pointing at 10. Would I get another phone call like that day? Even though Shion had already disappeared. Would she still call me? Where were they calling from and who were they? The more I think about it, the more I start to tremble. I even thought about just disconnecting the phone line. If I had been thinking a little less logically, I really would have done it too. Hold on, Kichimabara. Uchisana made it himself, didn't he? That Shion went missing a lot. Couldn't she have just gone to relatives that Uchisana didn't know about and have been there ever since? Shion and I were both being targeted by somebody, so it wouldn't be strange to think she went somewhere she usually didn't in order to hide. That must be why Uchi-san couldn't locate her, or why he labeled her as a disappearance. Yeah, that has to be it. June hadn't disappeared at all. Then my right hand moved on its own volition and slapped me on the cheek. Its cold sting let me calm down. Don't just convince yourself of the most convenient possibility, Kichimabara. I knew I didn't want to admit it. She just had disappeared. Admitting it would mean that something terrifying was going to happen. I just needed to figure out whether Shion was the one on the phone or not. Would I have to ask her if she's really Shion? That seemed like an incredibly absurd thing to do. Still, don't run from this, Kichi. If the person on the other end of the line still believed that I thought she was Shion, then that gave me a little tiny advantage. Casually, completely casually, I would listen to what she had to say and bend her wrath. I would tear the skin off the monster. It would definitely be scary for me. However, as the last survivor of the people who went into the storehouse that night, this was my day to perform. Still then who? Who would call me and pretend to be Shion? I may have only heard her over the phone, but her voice shouldn't be that easy to replicate. That was definitely Shion's voice. It sounded just like her. It could have only been Shion. There was somebody, though, wasn't there? Somebody who sounded just like Shion. Mion. Mion. Who else could have been? Who else could have done this? At this point, seriously, after all this time, all those little things that didn't quite make sense about me until now overwhelmed my mind. I'd been questioned about sneaking into the ritual storehouse. Now she shook the ladder while spouting curses. Who else? Who else could have? Why though? Why would Mion? I thought back to the things about the Shinozaki family that I heard from Uchi-san and Shion. Mion was always tangled in these incidences in a position where she was omitted. Some of that information included things that Shion had told me after she disappeared. I madly scratched at my head. Courage, give me the courage. Give me a little bit of courage to pick up the phone. I know it would ring tonight. I know it will ring tonight. It would have been easy to run away. That, though, would be the same as making it easy for them to erase me. I cannot run away. I must stand up and face it. After all, the next sacrifice would definitely be me. I'm sure Shion would use a tricky words to try and trap me. Be careful, be careful. I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. I don't want to do this, 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 I don't want to do this. Ring, 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 ring. Yeah, okay. At that point it rang. The phone rang and I didn't know where the call was coming from. Shion had disappeared. Disappeared a long time ago. Disappeared the night after Watanagashi. Yet, until today, she had been calling me like nothing happened. Now again tonight, the people that had disappeared, their corpses simply hadn't been found. I really didn't think they were alive. So if it really was Shion on the other end, then did that mean she was calling me from another world? Of course that couldn't be. A living being was calling me, pretending to be Shion. Shion was long gone, and yet, as though she was still alive and well, the phone continued to this incessant ringing. I didn't want to pick it up if I didn't have to. I had just concluded though that not doing so wouldn't solve anything. Then what would I do after I answered it? Would I immediately guess she wasn't Shion and ask who she was? Alternatively, would I pretend I was still a fool and try to grab her by the tail? That would probably be the safest thing to do. What I was most afraid of was the person on the phone who would realize she knew I wasn't Shion. However, as long as I continued to let her think I was fooled, she wouldn't do anything extreme, right? If I just made sure to be careful, that should be the safest option. I made up my mind. I'll answer the phone. Once I do that, I'll take her, prove to her as nothing happened. That wasn't all I'd do that this time though. I'll scope her out. Who was she? What was she thinking? And what was she after? Why was she doing this? Was she really the only one, Tomitaka-san and Takana-san? Was she really the one who killed Tomitaka-san and Takana-san? What happened to the mayor? What happened to Rika-chan and Satoko? I reached out to receive my arms trembling. There were too many things I wanted to know, too many things I wanted to ask. I was scared. I should have started picking up the phone call. Pick it up, Kichi. Pick it up, Kichi. Hello? Oh, how relieved I would have been if it hadn't been a call from Shion. Kichan, it's me. It's Shion. My momentarily convenient above all pleasing predictions was ripped into 1,000 pieces. I couldn't help shaking at this point. Get ready for this. You took a long time to pick up. I thought you weren't home, and I was about to hang up. Sorry, I was just in the bath. Did your family not pick up for you? Could your parents be out right now, Kichan? I failed. I let her in on a vital piece of information. I was currently the only one home. It was like one ring. Well, no, that's not really. Anyway, have you heard about Rika-chan and Satoko? No, what happened after that? Were they found? Nah, they weren't found. Kichan, please don't lose hope. If, 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 if only Ushi-san hadn't let me know, then I might have allowed myself to shed a tear to Shion's considerate words. So now that I had come to this, I couldn't take her words at face value. This person, this person on the other end of the receiver, this person, the more than perfect as Shion they were, the more my blood curled in fear. Yuki-chan and Satoko, they were kidnapped, weren't they? Yes, I don't think that there's much doubt. Just how cruel and grave a meaning did those words hold? Their weight astonished me, and then a moment later, I was overcome with numbness and felt like I would pass out. I had asked if Rika-chan and Satoko had been kidnapped. Shion, in turn, had answered that there wasn't much doubt. That cruel meaning behind her words. Rika-chan and Satoko were... Oh no, I'm sorry. About the mayor. What do you think happened after he got kidnapped? Do you think he's still alive? What happened to Rika-chan and Satoko after they were kidnapped? That's what I wanted to ask, but I frantically caught myself. What if she's given an answer, a terrifying response in such a way to sound like it had nothing to do with her? I was scared of that, so I immediately brought up the mayor. That said, however much I talked about the mayor, I think he was killed. He... Hey, wait, that was quick. As I think it must have been really hard to kidnap somebody and keep them like they are. As long as they're not a hostage, it would be most practical to kill them once you were done with them. Uh, the world started to bend so much I almost lost balance. The scenery in my eyes whirled around and around like the hands of a clock and tried to swallow me and the room whole. I frantically put my hand on the wall to support myself. A moment later, a severe nausea rolled up within me. How was she saying such things so lightly? Kill them so readily. I mean, what's a human life too? Anyway, it's a horrible thing, but I think that's probably what happened. Samir was killed, and did that mean that the same thing happened to Rika-chan and Satoko? No. That couldn't. They weren't some random old man. It was Rika-chan. It was Satoko. They wouldn't kill them so readily. It's probably better to think that Rika-chan and Satoko ended up the same way. Those words I wanted to hear the least, and I followed them back with a scream of my own. Even though it wouldn't change anything, I still couldn't help but scream. This time the tears flowed. I'd been comforted with the most horrific outcome that I'd been trying to avoid considering ever since last night, and I cried. There was no doubt any longer that it was my fault. I killed them. I killed Rika-chan and Satoko. I succumbed to the weakness of my own heart and confessed everything to Rika-chan, and that's why they were killed. That's why I killed them. When Rika-chan looked at me with those innocent eyes, if only I hadn't given when my voice came out, and I just cried. Ki-chan, please just try and calm down. Rika-chan and Satoko, they've been killed. We couldn't even find their remains. I would never be allowed to even apologize to their faces. If that was to be my punishment, then how brutal a punishment it was. I think Shion tried to comfort me, but I didn't hear any of it. What are you going to gain by doing that? They're definitely going to target you and me next. Please, I'm asking you to get a hold of yourself. Please. Shion was shouting, imploring me with a voice that sounded like tears were in her eyes. However, I was coming to hate that sound of that voice more and more. Did Shion kill them? I had no doubt that this person killed them. Why? Why kidnap someone and then kill them? Screw curses. Are people's lives really that cheap? Erasing them and killing them without a second thought like this? You're right. You're absolutely right. It would take a demon. I felt like crushing the receiver in my hand. How long did this person plan on acting like it was someone else's problem? There was an argument in the pit of my stomach, and it felt like it was going to erupt at any moment. Hey Shion, please tell me, why did Himizawa start needing someone to die under the knives of Watanagashi? That's what I would like to know. If all the damn project is already over and done with, haven't enough people been cursed already? Why is it why? If there's a reason, say it now. I was incoherent at this point. Emotions had broken through the dam inside me, rushing forward, and I couldn't stop them. There was not simple questions. This was an interrogation. She herself hadn't realized it yet. It was just too funny. It was so funny that I couldn't stop crying. I understand how you feel, Key-chan, I really do. The dam was ended a long time ago. The murders and disappearances happening every year. Under the guise of Oishida-sama's curse. Why? Why is it happening? Some of them have nothing to do with this. And some of them want deserve to be cursed, so why? Why? That's what I'm asking you. I want to know as much as anyone. Aha. Both of our backgrounds could be heard over the phone. Listen, Oishida-sama's curse never existed. It's true and realistic. Just like you said, somebody in the village is using the grand name of Oishida-sama's curse as a justification for continuing those murders and disappearances every Watanagashi. They were cunning. They have been using the curse as a convenient tool and made a system where they would get rid of 2 enemies in the village every year. And this year, that system took Higurashi and Tomitake-san. Then why wasn't that enough? Why did the mayor and Rika-chan Satoka have to get killed too? I don't give a shit about the past. The only thing I care about is why Rika-chan Satoka needed to be killed. Why is that? I didn't say a word about to Satoka, you know? Why even her? Why? A silence fell between us. Shion didn't answer for a while. Key-chan, please, stop being mean. Hick, a sob. Was Shion crying? I don't have any idea what's going on either. Everything changed when we went to the ritual storehouse that night. It was the same for me. As I listened to Shion's bitter weeping, I could feel my agitation subsiding. When I heard that the Kono-san and Tomitake-san had been killed that night, I doubted my ears. And I realized it instantly. I realized what sort of position I was in now. The 4 of us snuck in there. Key-chan, you and I wouldn't be conveniently forgiven. When I thought about that, it made my chest so tight. So terrifying, you know, that feeling, Key-chan, don't you? There was nothing fake about her words. She didn't even understand how I felt. That's why I confessed everything to the old man Kimiyoshi. All of us entered the forbidden storehouse. It was a little bit of fun. We knew we shouldn't have done it, but it really was just had been a little bit of fun. It was only a little bit of exploration, that was all. The Kono-san and Tomitake-san, who went in with us, were killed shortly afterwards. They met such miserable ends. Since that day, I've been living in fear of when I would be attacked. There was nobody except Oman Kimiyoshi who would help me, so I asked him to save me. Oman Kimiyoshi, he wasn't mad. He smiled and he said, if you're really sorry, Shion-chan, then you would never be demoned away. He really did smile at me and told me to leave it to him. Sob. Shion cried bitterly, calling the beloved mayor's word death. With such a sad voice that no one who heard it could prevent it from twisting their heart. Again, I did. I let my emotions take over and get off on her. Shion was in the same situation as me. She should have been my one and only comrade. Thump. My heart pounded. Where the sob deep within my mind whispered to me, don't forget Kichimabara. Don't forget about the mayor on the morning of the Watanagashi. He was told of Takano-san and Tomitake-san's death over the phone and committed to a meeting that evening. He went to the hospital appointment. He didn't tell his family. He'd only made it back just in time for the meeting. He went straight to the assembly hall. That's what Ushi-san said. When? When did you let the mayor know? Hick? Huh? I'm sorry, Shion. It must seem like I'm kicking you while you're down, but... Shion, you told him, right? You told Oman Kimiyoshi, the mayor? Yes, Hick. When did you let him know? Eh? I began to get scared of saying it out loud after hearing her sad voice. I wasn't saying it was contradictory though. Besides, if there was a contradiction, then I wanted Shion to explain it to me. Did you know that the mayor had a severe case of hemorrhoids and had gone to the hospital for treatment? Key-chan, what does that have to... Please answer me. If you didn't know, then just say so. There's a momentary silence, then after stammering a few times she replied, I knew that. He had hemorrhoids. It looked like he was sitting down was really hard for him. He was going to the hospital. You know which hospital, right? I'm sorry, I don't know that much, but Key-chan, what does that have to do with... Shion didn't know what the hospital the mayor went to. That meant it was impossible for her to have gone all the way to the hospital to confess everything. Since she didn't know his destination, then she obviously couldn't have seen him on the train either. If there was any chance for her to contact him, it would be after he came to Himizawa. The train, however, had been delayed and he only got back right before the meeting was about to start. He didn't have time. There wouldn't have been enough time for him to listen to Shion spill the beans. I want to ask you straight, Shion, when did you tell the mayor about everything? When and where? The answer doesn't have to be precise, but please, give me one. Ki-chan, why are you asking that? Hick, her sob pierced to my ears. I was taken by the illusion that I was bullying her. Even so, I'll say it. If I'm wrong, then please correct me. Please prove to me that you're the real Shion. It was impossible. The day after the mayor disappeared, from dawn until he vanished, there was no opportunity for you to contact him. Eh? That... The mayor left first thing in the morning for his examination at the university hospital all by himself without telling anyone. Shion, you just said you didn't know which hospital he went to. So you couldn't go in contact with him until he got back, isn't that right? Hick. His train was delayed by an accident and he didn't return to his house until the meeting was about to start. So there was no time for you to have told him before the meeting started either. I heard Jion repeating her weak sobs. A sort of feminine voice that automatically ripped to my heart. It was so painful for me to say, Jion, did you go to the meeting too? Did you attend it and had him there? If you didn't, then there wouldn't be any time left. After the meeting was over, the maid disappeared on his way home. She went to the meeting, didn't she? Did she or didn't she? The question was so simple to answer, but she didn't give an immediate response. Actually with the meeting, you didn't even go to your part-time job you said you went to that day. I'll say it more directly. You haven't been seen since you went to the library together. Ki-chan, well. Shion Shinozaki disappeared the day after Watanagashi. The other end fell silent as the grave. It was so quiet that it was almost like the phone cord had been cut. I couldn't sense anyone else there. Yushu-san said you've been missing. Despite that, you've been calling me every night like this, haven't you? Hick. 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 Shion's sobs were tormenting me. Still, I'm pretty sure I haven't said anything wrong. Please, Shion. If something I said was wrong, please say so. Shion, I'm begging you. Hick. 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 Shion, there's no way you could have seen the mayor, but if you did see him, if Shion had even had a chance to meet with the mayor on that day, then that meant then you saw him after the meeting. In other words, it could be right before he disappeared, or else afterwards. Hick, hick. How many he's? Oh, eyes. Was those real eyes? Interesting. Beep beep. When the dial toned. I stood there dazed for a while until I realized she hung up on me. Oh. Oh. Oh, Higurashi when they cry. Okay, I guess. Guess they got caught in their lie. How many books do we have left? I mean, how many tips? Scrapbook and the Shuzu Mahjong Pala. Tough call. Those weren't the eyes I saw. Do. The problem with twins. This is not limited to just himself, but in Onigashiki village, especially the two families, detested giving birth to twins as successors. The long-term dictatorship built on the precaution balance of the three families must have feared perhaps under the weight of internal strife from things like family quarrels. According to the illiteracy, if twins were born, then they would be culled. Without the very fact that both the Shinozaki and family's successor Mion-san Shinozaki and a twin Jion alive itself is deeply interesting. Currently, the current leader, Oreo, is sympathetic. Of course, the twins were not cared for equally, and as the heir, Mion received special treatment. From what I've heard, despite the two of them looking exactly the same on the outside, the talent lies solely on Mion. My observations of the two of them don't leave much of that impression. Tradition dictates that the leader of the Shinozaki family is said to inherit a demon and a tattoo a magnificent one on his or her back. In accordance with this tradition, there is an extremely high possibility that Mion had such a tattoo on her back. From what I've heard, there is apparently a magnificent demon tattooed on Oreo's back as well. Then I wonder what sort of tattoo belongs to the hair Mion. I really want to see her back. It's the Mahjong at the Shuzu Mahjong Parlor. Reserved for the day, Shuzu Mahjong Parlor. Kata kata, hey, Kuro-chan owes a cop one. You're the last one here. Well, the youngsters are here already. Nah ha 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 ha. Excuse me, miss. Ushi hands over a convenient bag store with a carton of cigarettes in it. The old woman who owned the mahjong parlor. She's a skewly made herself a scar. She was used to this by now. Do Ushi-san, good work today. What were you all earnestly waiting for me? What were you all earnestly waiting for me? You could have done a 3-player. Everyone's sitting at the mahjong table in the small parlor where Uchi-san subordinates, but they there were no tiles laid out anywhere. Everyone, I'd like to thank you for all the days of your investigations without sleeping. Thank you. Um, Energetic responses filled the parlor. Already had lost the atmosphere of a place of entertainment. Situation is not good. The chief appears to have backed down from the Congressman Shinzaki's threats. In the coming days, we'll hand off Takano's murder cases to the Gifu police and give the missing persons case of disappearances of the mayor and the others to the community division. That damn upstart chief, the veterans in the room cursed him. One of the requests for warrants were turned down as well. I've been told by our sector chief not to go anywhere near the Shinazaki house. We're certainly in a bind that we are. Incidentally, it looked like I was be getting orders soon to go to training at the Metropolitan Police Department starting next week. After that, I've been told to take paid vacation in Uzi. Well, I suppose that ain't bad. He heard a few dry laughs. There wasn't anything to laugh about, but that's all they could really do. This always happens, but incidences are a lot like unlocking your keys in your car. The keys you need to unlock the door are always locked inside. The cars you call a Jaff, and they'll pry open your door. For incidences, Kuma-chan showed the map. Kumatami lifted over the whiteboard. On the back was a map of the Shinzaki premise made with magnets. Now, I've been doing this job for a long time. Got a lot of faith in my gut, but this could be the one time it was wrong now. Anyone worried about their retirement money has until the count of 10 to get out of here. We should be getting counting to 10 and everyone counting alongside him. It was that famous 10 courts resolution. 9, 10, no one's leaving. None of you love your families too much, is that it? Foo. Wahahaha. Everyone laughed uproariously, cheering things up. I want everyone to go over their materials, memorize the locations and blind spot of all the security cameras. Kuma-chan, you'll stand by in the command car. If something happens, you'll switch with me and take over. Komiyama-kun will head up infiltration team A. Are you doing a secret raid on the Shinzaki household? Atsushi-kun will be lead team B. Observation team will set up at points 1 through 8. Abuchi-kun, you're responsible for keeping a strict timetable. Control your rotation so HQ doesn't get wise. Now the team on standby has the most important job, alright? If the section chief asks where I am, play dumb. Wahahaha. I'll hand escorting our guests. I'll probably take him to the venue, so wait patiently everyone. I wonder if he'll cave. Teach him about it, that is. From what I've seen, we're set for tomorrow or the day after in that regard. It'll be easy. Oh, I guess next time's a raid on the Shinazaki family then. Okay. Yeah. That should be it for this time, so bye bye.